Freedom fighters, I'm coming back at you with another Friday weekly wrap up. And today we're going to be doing your World War III update. Haven't, touched back on this topic or covered the news in a while. So I figured we'd go through over all this stuff with the Iran war starting up and Trump um, hitting Iran once again, and what happened to the last time he bombed Iran and said we completely obliterated their nuclear capability and disrupted or dismantled their regime and the power structure and all the protests and everything, and the regime has fallen and all that. And then it seems like we had to do it all over again, and now he's openly calling it a war, even though technically it's not. He says it's like a special operation. And they, of course, they've challenged him in Congress and everything and say, well, you can't just declare war. It's an act of Congress. And he's using the War Powers Act, which I think allows him for 60 days to deploy troops and, fight something like this off. And I think they said there's a method where like he can extend it. I think like 90 days is the max. But in order to actually stay at war and this going long terms, which it seems like it is, headed for long term. When he first got into it, he said, oh, this is just a multi-week war, or just a exercise or whatever how they call it. And he said, yeah, 2 to 4 weeks and it'll be over. We'll see how that ends up going. But right now, I mean, Marco Rubio even admitted that it's Israel's war, and they're basically Trump and Pete Hegseth and the Pentagon and Marco Rubio and all these people are just following Bibi Netanyahu's dangling the carrot, and they're just following along. And Rubio said basically like they forced our hand. Israel said they had the intelligence of what was going on and where Ali Khamenei was gonna be, and we strike. He died like a dog, like all the other terrorists, and we had to do. We killed his wife and his daughter and his granddaughter and all of that. But now his son is now the new supreme leader, so it's gonna continue to go on, and what should I call it? Yeah, so I mean, that's pretty much where we are. They've declared that they're closing the Strait of Hormuz, the main shipping hub and trade route of oil throughout the Eastern Hemisphere, and it might be the world. It might be the biggest trade route of oil and stuff coming out of the Middle East and everything like that. So, gas prices are going up, and yeah, Trump basically just blew it off. He's like, if they rise, they rise. And, everyone now all of a sudden has become pro war, and it's crazy. And it's like, when all this stuff was happening under Biden, they didn't support it. But it's typical, man. It's team my guy, right? It's whenever it's their guy, it's acceptable. When your guy does it, they don't call it out. And this whole thing of like, again, it's Republican, Democrat, and if your team's doing it, then that's it. There's no critical thinking anymore. People don't stay true to policy and stay true to ideas. Like, I don't care when your guy does something, like, I can like a politician or think like, okay, they're doing good, or I support most of what they do. But then when they do something completely, off the rails to that, I call them out for it. You have to stand on business. You have to stay on your morals, ethics, and principles, right? Same thing with the e-files. You find out your favorite politician or whatever is diddling kids. you can't accept that. There is no accepting that. And same thing with this whole situation and forever wars and regime changes and sending soldiers off to die in the Middle East. And I've always been against that. And the world police and sending aid and we have to help everybody. Um, I've been against that from the very beginning. And so now Trump said, yeah, he's feeling the heat. He realizes people aren't happy with the gas going up, and it ain't looking good. So he said he's emptying the strategic oil reserves. And again, you remember when Biden did that, and everyone was against it. Everyone's, oh no, Biden's going into our strategic reserves, and we need that for when shit hits the fan, and he's going to leave us tapped dry, and this is a planned destruction of America, and this is how they're going to do it. They're going to use all our reserves and leave us without anything. They're going to leave us dry and walk away while we all suffer. But when Trump does it, it's, oh no, man, this is a strategical genius, and he had it planned all along, and we're just gonna, work off of the reserves. And same thing with the ammunition and everything. Yeah, Trump came out the other day and said we have almost unlimited munitions, but we all know that's not true, because again, when Biden did it, everyone went crazy. Oh, he's sending all this stuff to Ukraine, and he's leaving us dry, and he's sending out of all of our stuff. And you remember when the Lake City brass ammo, the green tip ammo run, and that plant closed down because they said they were only producing military ammunition, and everyone went prices sky high. Everyone went and got their green tips and all their Lake City brass, and everyone's like, oh man, like this is another way for gun control, and how they're doing another way to do that. But also not just small, like um like ammunition and bullets, but heavy artillery rounds and missiles and stuff like that. That's all been running out. And they've had, I think it was um Colonel McGregor that came out and said, we don't have enough munitions to fight all these wars that we're constantly putting out. But again, the hypocrisy. When Biden does it, the MAGA people call him out and everything, but they don't want to call out Trump, and they don't want to question what Trump's doing. And it's gotten people killed already, and again, it seems people don't care about that either. Like, when the soldiers die for Israel under Trump's watch, it's, oh, those are patriots, and a sudden change of the script. You know what I'm saying? You got to support the troops, and they knew what they were fighting for, and Trump is for America, and so are the troops, and all this. But when Biden sends them out and they die under Biden, it's, oh, he's stupid, and he's asleep, and he doesn't even know what he's doing. And you remember Hannity covering the disastrous Afghan withdrawal, and I believe the 13 soldiers that died during that. And he played wall-to-wall coverage of, oh, the soldiers died under his watch, and his incompetence and all this stuff. And I believe Americans were held behind enemy lines, and he was doing a special where every day he came out and he's like, it's day 50 whatever, and I think it led like 90 day or 100 days, where he's like, it's day 110 of Biden's with Afghan withdrawal, and American soldiers or American citizens are behind enemy lines, and they're not giving aid and they're not extracting these people. But you don't hear a lick of coverage of that, from Fox anymore. You may hear it on CNN or whatever. But again, it's Team Red, Team Blue, and they all do it, but they only call it out or they only support it when it's their side doing it. It's the pure um, hypocrisy of the whole thing. And they constantly do this. It's not just, the big scandal they're coming out recently with all the spending that they've been feeding the troops or whatever, like steak and lobster and stuff. And this is World War III, level stuff. People were saying when they sent the troops, and he was bragging about, yeah, we sent them a 1776 paycheck. And people were like, right then and there, like, oh, that's so nice, and supportive of the troops. I'm like, those are war checks. Those are you're getting sent to war. And then they start feeding them steak and lobster. It's like, yeah, that's because you're in World War III and you have to up morale. But this was a thing back in the Biden administration too, where they were saying, where are they spending all this money and all this food and stuff going to different places or whatnot, or whatever the budget. And was it one of Biden's aides or something like that was taking private flights on like Air Force Two or something like that. Maybe it was Jen Psaki or something when she was press secretary, or can't remember if it was John Pierre or one of them, people that were working on. I think it was Pete Buttigieg did it too, because he was transportation secretary, but he was taking government flights all over, and not official business. He was going on like vacations and stuff, and it was a big thing, and people were like calling it out. But they found out that Kash Patel was doing the same thing. He's flying around on FBI jets and private planes, and getting his girlfriend picked up and sending her on, whatever her music tours, and they're going on dates and they're flying across the world, all on our dime and our tax dollars. And both sides do it. Again, you're a hypocrite if you're not calling them out both, and you're not criticizing both. And that's the thing between me and a lot of others is again, they're Team Republican, Democrat, they're red, they're blue. I'm just anti-government. I criticize them all. When I see them, doing the bullshit, then that's what it is, man. But yeah, so what do you think's gonna go down with all this? How do you think it's gonna unfold? Um, the world's on fire as it's always been. We've been covering this, slowly over time. I was watching a video the other day where it's like the sheep are asleep, man, and people. It amazes me how much people forget about things, and like think about the Chinese spy balloon. Who even talks about that anymore? Who even remembers that? What about the drones going over New York and New Jersey and all this stuff, and pretty much half of the United States, if not, there was drone sightings everywhere. And Trump saying, oh, he's going to disclose it on day one. That never happened. And then auditing Fort Knox and the Doge checks and all this stuff that goes on. So almost nothing will surprise me. If this just ends up blowing over, it possibly it could, and it'll just go on to the next thing, and Americans just forget about it and let it, go. I mean, I talked about it before. If the E-Files didn't start a revolution, if you didn't pick up pitchforks or grab your AR-15, light some torches and go storm your capitals, or at the very least, like protest, the American people never will. What I'm talking about, they're never going to do anything. And, we were talking about this recent attack in Texas at the bar. And I was talking about the elections in Texas, how they elected Rhino Abbott, and a lot of these rhinos, and it looks like Democrats might even win a lot of sleeps, winning a lot of these elections in the midterms. And so, again, man, and what I've always said about Texas, man, is a lot of chest beating and bravado of, oh yeah, this and that in Texas, and you got a freaking Muslim running around blasting people at the bar, and they're following the gun laws, right? I thought Texans didn't do that bullshit. I thought they didn't put up with that. But see, again, and people are saying, yeah, it's Austin, and you know, it's a bunch of college, yuppies partying it up on, I can't remember when that was, Friday night, or if it was a weeknight or weekend, it doesn't matter. Like, we're in full on hot warfare, and you need to be prepared. You need to be ready for shit to pop off. And I've done recent videos about this, about, people talking about like, oh yeah, I got this, I got that. It's at home. It's in my, in my car, in my truck, and all this. It needs to be on you. You need to be ready for it. And now Trump came out saying that, you could expect, more lone wolf, style attacks from Iranian sleeper cells. Now he says, "Oh, we know who they all are," and he goes, "Oh, we know who they are, or we're watching them all." I think so. They don't know who all these people are, and just in the last week or two since the Iran war has started, you've had the guy shoot up the the bar in Texas in Austin. You had a government worker. That tells you all you need to know. In DC, go on a slashing spree or a stabbing spree. You've got a guy in New York on during a Christian rally or Christian protest or something like that, throw a nail grenade, basically a homemade pipe bomb with nails and stuff, during a protest. You got this attack the other day from a military base or a school in Norfolk, and I was watching a video from Black Scout Survival where he was calling it. He said he went there, or he didn't go to the school, but he said he deployed out of that area, and that's a big military zone. He said the largest Navy a zone in the world, the largest naval base in the world, and that's where this Muslim terrorists decide to attack. And reportedly, they're in a gun-free zone, and this ISIS supporter who got arrested and then released, on the woke DEI, we have to have sympathy and love for all our Muslim and anti-American Marxists who hate this country and want to destroy us. We have to let them loose. And then now they're trying to take guns everywhere in Virginia. You got this Abigail Spanberger out here and all her cronies, her attorney general who wants to kill Republicans, and all these people in there who want to disarm people, and the school of cadets were disarmed, but it appears one of them was illegally carrying a knife. Someone wrote that on an X comment the other night. He couldn't carry firearms, so he carried a knife. Well, he carried that illegally as well. And you can't even carry nunchucks or brass knuckles in Virginia. It's pretty much Europe. And everything is banned. It looks like he did it anyway. And supposedly he shanked this guy and ventilated him and took him out. So again, man, and that's what you have to. I retweeted a post from, I can't remember who it was, But he openly said, like, I'm now calling on everyone to violate gun laws and, do what you have to do. Protect yourself and your family, because that's where we're at now, man. We're in the final stages, and that's the mindset you got to be getting in to getting ready, because it's popping off and it's going hot in America. And you just wait when these gas prices go up. And I saw this clip from Tucker on that Black Scout survival video I was watching, and he said, where does he think this is going, and could it possibly end soon? But see, for Iran, winning doesn't mean they topple the U.S. government, or they need to attack in the United States, or they need anything. Winning for them is just survival. You just have to do what the Taliban did. You just have to sit there and survive. If it takes 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, like it did in Afghanistan, and all you do is burrow yourself into your caves and your bunkers and all this stuff, and every once in a while you poke your head out like a little gopher and, pop off some shots, RPG oil tanker, or heck, even a single bolt action sniper rifle. You can do a lot of damage with that. And they pop out and pluck away a couple crew members and stuff. People are gonna be like, "Yo, I'm not going through there. That's too much risk." And essentially, the Strait of Hormuz is closed. And to them, that's all you have to do to win, and sit there and hold on and survive. And that's the big, problem with Iran, and that's the problem they're facing, and that's what Trump basically started and kicked off. Is that even a war that you can win? How many people are you going to have to put into that country and essentially occupy that nation and guard the Strait of Hormuz in order for it to not get attacked? That's the situation we're looking at. And I believe, what's basically going to happen is there's going to be a pullout. After this 60 days or whatever that they're not going to let him continue the war, he's going to pull out. Now, maybe he can, I don't know what the rules are for how quickly you can re-engage. Like, can you come back and then go back for another 60 days? I don't know. But my guess is it's just going to get worse and worse. You're going to see attacks on the homeland. You're going to have these lone wolf people. You need to stay frosty, head on a swivel, get ready. And then prices are going to go crazy as fuel gets backed up. Food prices, everything's already crazy. Inflation through the roof. It's going to go up. And tempers are going to flare. And already in this country, we've talked about it, we're in a civil war. It's a powder keg. Now, you just wait until gas goes back up and food rises even more. And everything else goes crazy. And you can't afford shit. And your life is garbage. And they're burning down cities and attacking people. Shit's gonna get lit up. Shit's gonna go down. And then it's gonna get so bad that they're even gonna foment you. They're gonna want you. You're gonna want to go put an end to it. And people are gonna send their sons and daughters to go fight in Iran in World War III. Because believe me, Russia, China, all these other countries, they're gonna get involved, and it's just gonna keep it's the snowball going down the hill, and it's just gonna keep spiraling downhill and picking up momentum and getting bigger and bigger, and it gets worse and worse, and the situation turns into a wrecking ball. So, yeah, man, I'm going to leave it there. Let me know what you guys think about it. Till the next one, you know what it is. We are on our own. No one's coming to save us. So get right with God, because only God can save you. Freedom fighters out.